Hi everyone. I just wanted to do a quick overview here of lesson 2 before we get started in it. And just wanted to talk a little bit about the shift from the Darling-Hammond text to the Mertler text, which is the Intro to Educational Research book you were asked to purchase for this course. The book will be used minimally in this course, but in an important way. But it's important to remember you'll be using this book in your upcoming research courses. So it's actually good to kind of do a little bit of a quick look in it and do some activities around educational research to set you up for your upcoming research courses. So lesson 2 is going to turn our attention to thinking about educational research. And partly we're framing the ideas around research looking at the achievement gap and what we mean by equity versus equality that you'll see here in this short read, as well as visual to accompany the read. There's a couple videos in lesson 2 that talk about the ideas around not just equity and equality, but how they are framed within the context of STEM education. And then to be thinking about principles of research-based teaching, which probably is not a new idea to any of you, but to be thinking, taking a deeper dive into how research informs your practice, which is what the discussion is going to be around for this lesson. I've also broken you up into smaller discussion groups for the discussion board. We won't be using VoiceThread, or you won't be discussing on VoiceThread in this lesson. We'll be alternating the written discussion board and VoiceThread, but do want for your discussion to be thinking about how research informs your practice. So this article will give you some ideas. Also thinking Marzano is a research-based sort of with strategies. There's lots of different ways. So be thinking about how that impacts your practice. And your text, specifically in chapter 5, gives you some really good examples, some case studies at the end to be thinking about how would you use research to solve a problem within your own setting. The reason why we frame the achievement gap here in this chapter is much of what's going on in the national narrative, specifically around the achievement gap, really is deeply rooted in research-based best practices. So what do we know about working with marginalized students, for example? How do we know, what have we learned about brain-based research and learning? How does poverty and trauma impact learning and those types of things? So it's kind of framed, they may seem like separate ideas, but at the end of the day, you'll see how the threads come together, and good research, good sound, evidence-based practice is needed to really close what we know to be the achievement gap. So enjoy the lesson, and I look forward to our continued learning together. Thanks.